Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
And thanks for joining us for another edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Raddick, and in a moment we'll be joined by Assistant City Manager John Fitzpatrick. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including notes from city departments and things happening in Oshkosh. In the second half, we'll highlight items from the upcoming Tuesday, March 12th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our Assistant City Manager, John Fitzpatrick. John, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
Well, we're glad you're here. We've got a lot of interesting topics to talk about today. One thing that's very exciting that just happened recently is the new Four Seasons building over at Lakeshore Park had an open house for the public. And we got a little video of that, and we'll take a look.
Sure. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
In a word, it's really a nice venue for the public. It's something that we've never had available for the community. You know, we've had pavilions in our parks for years and years, but to have a facility like this that can accommodate people even in the winter months, or you know, if it's a little chillier in the spring or fall, I think it's just going to be something that people are really going to enjoy.
Right. And for folks that aren't aware, the building is located at the north end of Pinoco Street in Oshkosh, and that's where Lakeshore Park has its east border there by the river. And the building itself, as you're looking there a little bit, has a large assembly room. It has a small kitchen.
Right.
There's a refrigerator in there.
Restrooms inside.
Yep.
And also a really beautiful deck.
Yes.
And I don't know if you could notice when we had some of the shots up there, but those doors facing the deck can be completely opened up, almost like an open wall.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a shot of it right there. So, yeah, it's
gorgeous.
And there aren't any tables out there right now, but that's something that certainly can be set up to accommodate people if they prefer to have tables inside and out. And I don't know if we mentioned the Riverwalk. You could see some shots of people going up and down the river there too, or Riverwalk there too.
Right,
so,
right.
Very cool.
The building is available daily from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., and the rental fee must be paid in full when making a reservation. If folks want to reserve that building, they can contact the Oshkosh Parks Department at 236-5080, and I'm told that reservations are filling fast.
Me too. Unsurprisingly, it is really filling up fast, and that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, another exciting project that's happening over at the Oshkosh Public Museum is that they unveiled a new look and a new branding for their museum.
Right. I don't know if people are aware. There's been a little bit of publicity, but it's the 100th year of our museum's existence. And there's a shot of the new logo to commemorate the 100-year anniversary. I know in talking to staff at the museum, they're super excited, and they have all kinds of different activities planned this year.
Yeah. And this new visual identity is representing their expanded mission, encompassing history, art, and culture. And as far as a little bit of background behind that logo, why it is the way it is, it drew inspiration from two things unique to Oshkosh: the sunrise over Lake Winnebago and the rich jewel tones found in the Tiffany stained glass landscape window that's in the Sawyer home. And you'll notice also that the M is kind of prominent there. The M is brought to the forefront because OPM is often simply referred to as the museum. So, you know, it kind of ties it all together.
I think, yeah, it's just, it's a very exciting time for us here at the city, and certainly folks that are working at the museum, you know, to showcase what a beautiful facility that is, and for the benefit of the public for all this time. It's something that, you know, is really, really exciting.
Absolutely. All right. And we'll be keeping everyone up to date on all of the special activities that are part of the OPM 100, which is a series of programs and exhibitions to celebrate their 100th anniversary.
Right.
All right. We also wanted to point out that it is election season, and early voting will not take place at City Hall. It did not take place at City Hall for the spring primary, and likewise, it will not take place at City Hall for the general spring election. So just so folks are aware.
Right. I know you and City Manager Roloff have been trying to get the word out on a variety of different programming initiatives, but yeah, we just want to try to make sure if the folks didn't get a chance to catch some of the information that you had previously shared, that absentee voting is not at City Hall any longer. It's going to be at 19 East Irving. And the reason that that was done was to try to make it really easier for the public. It would be more convenient maybe to have it here at City Hall, but it's really not very conducive for ease of the public. The
Right.
hallways are a little narrow, people have to wait in line, and having it at this new facility is just much more convenient. People can park, get in and out of there a lot more easily. So it really was done with the public in mind, and hopefully it'll be an easier and more efficient experience for the public.
Absolutely, right. And early voting does begin on Tuesday, March 19th from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and that will continue on through March 29th on weekdays. And on March 29th, they are available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on that particular day. So make note of that if you would like to cast your ballot ahead of Election Day.
Right.
All right, and we also wanted to, speaking of elections, we also wanted to make a note that Oshkosh Media has recently covered some candidate forums, and Oshkosh Media has been collaborating with the League of Women Voters of Winnebago County for over 25 years now to provide these forums. And so recently some forums were recorded featuring candidates for Oshkosh Common Council, the Oshkosh School Board, and Winnebago County Circuit Court Branch 1 Judge. So
Right,
making
and
those available.
folks can watch if they don't want to participate in person or they're not able to. They certainly can watch, just like they're watching our show right now. They can take a look at it through GovTV on cable, through a streaming device, online at oshkoshmedia.org, or on the Oshkosh Media YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Yeah, we make those available. And also keep an eye on social media from Oshkosh Media. We keep everybody updated on when those are available and when they're replaying and so forth.
Right.
So, okay. Also, we have some news from the Oshkosh Senior Center. And just must be the season for open houses, because they had an open house at the Senior Center, and it was very successful.
Yeah, I think, with the weather being unseasonably warm, it's kind of nice. People have the urge to get out and enjoy this weather a little bit. And also it's nice for us to showcase some of the venues that we have available for the community. And, the Senior Center is no exception to that. I think they had, almost 150 people show up, Andy.
Right.
Something like that.
Right.
They had quite a few new participants sign up. And I think the Senior Center has really been increasing their membership since the pandemic.
Right.
I know that during the pandemic, of course, it was difficult. They only saw, I think, maybe around 20,000 people a year, but...
and prior to that, they were at like about 55,000.
Right. So it's great to see that attendance is rebounding, and I think it's on track again for 50,000 visits again this year in 2024. So that's really good.
That's fantastic. And I know that they encourage folks to check out their Fox Fitness Center and the variety of exercise classes that they offer there. They're encouraging seniors to stay fit and take advantage of these facilities that are available for them.
It's just amazing, everything that they have there. The
Yeah.
facilities there are unbelievable, in terms of the equipment that they have. Trips, classes, all kinds of different things. And the Senior Center allows people at the age of 50 to access their facilities and their programming. So it's something to, if you don't know about, it's something certainly to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. We encourage folks to check the city's website for the senior centers page, or check their monthly newsletter, The Current. Okay, also we have some news about from the Parks Department. They have some activities coming up for families, and they will be celebrating spring with a couple of events over at the Sunnyview Expo Center. The first one is Breakfast with the Bunny, and that is coming up on March 30th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., and that features pancakes, sausage, milk, juice, and coffee, and there'll be a lot of fun for families.
Yeah, I know a lot of families look forward to this. It's kind of an unofficial kickoff of spring, and as we talked about earlier, I think folks are anxious to get out and enjoy some decent weather, and the kids love it. I know they can decorate cookies, there's some crafts available, they can get some photos with the bunny. But I think they have to purchase the tickets in advance, don't they, Andy?
That is correct. For Breakfast with the Bunny, tickets must be purchased in advance at the Parks Department or online through their portal on their city web page. But no tickets will be available at the gate for that particular event.
And don't they also have the famous annual egg hunt?
That's right. That takes place after the breakfast. Bunny in the Barn, it's called.
Right.
And that's scheduled from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the kids can search the barns over there at Sunnyview Expo Center for prizes and all kinds of fun.
Right. No, I think that's something that I know kids look forward to every year.
Yeah, and for that particular event, for Bunny in the Barn, tickets are available at the gate for that event.
Okay, good.
The breakfast, they just need church tickets purchased in advance.
So they can plan for the food, I think.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
So check the Parks Department webpage or visit their office at 805 Witzel Avenue. If you have any questions about these events coming up on March 30th, please contact Parks Department at 236-5080. All right, we also wanted to put a plug in. We haven't mentioned this, I don't think, on this show yet, but we have State of the City 2024 that is coming up around the corner very soon. And this year, it's a little bit of a different approach with it because it will be a video presentation.
Right. I know that you and the rest of Oshkosh Media staff have been working very hard on this initiative along with City Manager Roloff, and I think it's going to be awesome. I've had a chance to sit in on some of those meetings, and I think some of the elements of the program, what we're going to touch on, how we're going to reach people, I think it's very innovative and very exciting.
Well, that video will premiere on Wednesday, March 27th. And we recently conducted a survey on Polco where residents are able to chime in about what they'd like to see the city focus on in 2024. And those items are addressed in this program. So it's very interactive, and there's a lot of citizen input there.
Right.
And city, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know people, we enjoyed interacting with the community members. And this isn't intended to replace that necessarily. I know that we're also going to be present at the Business Expo, so we'll have a chance to interface with people there.
Right.
But I think the idea that we discussed was, how can we bring the city out to others? And having one mega event is fun, but maybe it's not convenient and conducive to everybody's schedule. So we want to try to do what we can to accommodate the public and interact with them in a variety of different venues, just like Oshkosh Media does with all of the different vehicles that we employ to communicate with folks.
Right, absolutely. And City Manager Roloff will be sharing kind of a behind the scenes of what happens in city operations, capital improvement projects for 2024, city facilities updates, development projects, and just an outlook for Oshkosh's future.
Right.
And as you mentioned, there were several aspects of the State of the City program in person. One of those was the awards. And so Community Partner Awards and Citizen Service Awards will be presented at the March 26th Common Council meeting.
Right. Right.
So those are coming up. And as you mentioned, the city will be present at the Chamber of Commerce Business Expo, and that is Wednesday, March 20th at the Oshkosh Convention Center.
Right.
So that's all coming up, but the video premieres on March 27th, 6:30 p.m. on Oshkosh Media GovTV and streaming platforms and the Oshkosh Media YouTube channel. So looking forward to that.
It should be great.
Okay, well, I think it's about time that we take a short break. Stay with us for some highlights from the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig along with Assistant City Manager John Fitzpatrick. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming March 12th Oshkosh Common Council meeting. So John, we have under the consent agenda, one of the items here is an approval of a commercial quadricycle license for Oshkosh Brew Bike. I believe that this bike has been active or been in business before, but this is kind of a continuation of their licensing.
Right. I think because it was a new business, a new venue for folks, we wanted to be cautious and make sure that it was something that was going to be safe and successful for everyone. So I think that has worked out very well, and it looks like we have some shots of the quadricycle too. So, so we're happy to renew that license and give people an opportunity to participate. Believe it or not, Andy, I have not yet been on the quadricycle.
Nor have I.
So we're going to have to work on that, especially with this weather getting nicer.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, look for that around town.
Right, exactly.
So definitely an exciting thing. One of the many things to do in Oshkosh.
Yes.
Well, also in our consent agenda, we have a few items for the. It looks like let's see. This is over at I believe the wastewater plant.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Wastewater treatment plant. I think we have some CIP projects, and the reason we talk about these is we have a whole variety of different facilities issues we're working on all the time, but maybe none that are as critical as our water filtration and wastewater treatment plant. It's not something that is as exciting as we talked about earlier with Lakeshore Pavilion, but it's very critical, to what we do for the citizenry. I know City Manager Roloff likes to say nothing's more important than the safety and welfare of our citizens, and he's absolutely correct. And keeping these facilities up to date and operational in a super efficient manner is something that's job one for us. So I know that we have two items. One of them is for concrete and structural repairs, and another one is just to keep the roofs in good working condition also.
And I know we talked a little bit about the state of the city, and that's one thing that will be mentioned in State of the City is the importance of maintaining our infrastructure. And this is a good example of how we're keeping an eye on things. We're not letting things deteriorate to the point where things have to be a major expense, and these maintenance items are important to keep up with.
Absolutely. These are directly related to utilities, but I think you and City Manager Roloff have talked on a variety of different occasions about how a recent council saw fit to approve $60 million worth of facility improvements and then program those things in our capital improvement program. And I know it sounds like a lot of money for the citizens, but the idea, as you just alluded to, is to keep up with these things so we make sure that it's not an exorbitant price tag for people because we've not done a good job and planned ahead. So yeah, having those programmed, having the plan, executing the plan, making sure that we're keeping track of this and not just waiting till everything is at a critical stage. I think, that's what the citizens expect.
Right.
That's what they would do with their own capital items, and we need to honor that respect and make sure that we do a good job with that.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to jump back to one other item also that is on the agenda, and that is to approve the purchase of a new fire apparatus for the Oshkosh Fire Department. And I know that we had spoken about that before on a previous city manager's report, but just the importance of planning ahead for some of these purchases and being mindful of supply chain issues,
right,
so that we kind of get this in the hopper early so that we are able to purchase the equipment when we need it.
Right. Our capital improvement plan includes facilities, certainly, and we just talked about that, but it also contains other large capital items, and it looks like we have some footage here of a fire truck that we've that's in use right now. Mm-hmm. These are extremely complicated pieces of machinery, and in order to make sure that we can serve the public in those critical situations, we have to make sure that these things are operational, these vehicles are operational, so our employees can perform, mm-hmm, and perform on a regular and consistent basis. And you're right, the supply chain issue, I think this was originally programmed for like 2027 or something like that.
I believe so.
But because our country is still working through some supply chain issues, it was our understanding there was communication about how long this would actually take for us to get, and then given the state of affairs with our current equipment, we were able to accelerate this rather than waiting for 2027 in terms of uncertainty associated with when we might be able to get it.
Right.
So that's what this item is about.
Okay, very good. Well, then under our new ordinances, we have an item, charter ordinance to amend titles of mayor and deputy mayor to council president and council vice president. Can you give us a little bit of background about that?
Sure, I can. Originally when the city of Oshkosh established their form of government, I think it was 1958, the city manager form of government. Mm-hmm. It's my understanding that originally these were the titles that were in place: council president and council vice president. In 1978, for whatever reason, the council approved a change to mayor and deputy mayor. And I think because it's a city manager form of government, that occasionally has created confusion for some of the citizens. They think that the mayor is the chief executive officer when he or she really is not. Mm-hmm. So there's been dialogue by the council about this issue, and they thought it would be clearer to go back to what it was originally established for with this form of government, which is council president and council vice president. So that's really all this is. It's just the name change, mm-hmm, putting those two positions back to what is originally established with the city manager form of government.
Okay, so it's really a name change, but there's no change in duties or responsibilities.
No change at all, and how the position is elected is not changed at all either. Mm-hmm. It's just a name change. Mm-hmm. So,
okay,
yeah, that's what it's about.
Okay, all right, and then we also have an item also under new resolutions. We have approving an agreement for construction of a gazebo at William Waters Plaza, and this is across the street from the Oshkosh Public Library, I believe. Right.
I think this is something that's been in the works for quite some time, mm-hmm, and I know that people are very excited to get this project underway. There have been donations that have been set aside with the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation in order to facilitate this. And I think that the plan is to provide another venue that can be accessed near the library for a whole variety of different activities. Mm-hmm. So we see some renderings there, but I've seen some additional renderings, and I think that this is something that's just going to be another welcome addition to the downtown. People can access with their families, and we can hold events in conjunction with the library. So it's just another way to bring the public in and bring the library out. And it's not for exclusive use of the library. So I think there's all kinds of different possibilities for us.
And I think maybe there was some neighborhood association involvement with
Yes.
this as well.
Yeah, I think they're fully supportive of this initiative. So I think it's going to be, as I mentioned, another welcome green space addition to the downtown area.
Absolutely. It looks beautiful from what we saw in the renderings
right.
there. All right. Then we also have an item where we are looking at approving a plan for all remaining phases of a multifamily development, and this is over at Lake Butamore Drive. I believe that there's been some discussion about this particular item.
There has been. There's been significant discussion about this item, and but I think hopefully we're beyond the controversy associated with this. I think everyone knows that because Oshkosh is a growing area, there's really a critical need for housing, and Community Development Director Nyforth has worked very hard on a housing plan that I think the council has approved, and we want to move forward with trying to make available a whole variety of different housing options. So this is in concert with that plan, and I think the potential for us to grow in that part of the city is quite good, and I think this is maybe one of the first initiatives that will help facilitate that northwestern growth of our city.
Absolutely. All right. And then, and then it looks like that's about what we have for the council meeting. But I just also wanted to remind folks about that the State of the City is coming up again with a video presentation this year, and that will be released on March 27th. And I know that housing was one of those topics that was mentioned by citizens in our survey when we were looking for input for the program, and housing was one of those top issues, and so looking at different ways to address that, and that report was key to that whole topic as well.
Absolutely. I think, City Manager Roloff, I know you and City Manager Roloff have talked at great length about all kinds of different housing opportunities. We've discussed homelessness. We've discussed, the transition from homelessness to more and more independence, and the whole continuum of care associated with that, to the point of total independence, and then providing different kind of housing venues in all spectrums, all financial spectrums. So it's not just providing housing at one level; it's providing housing in a whole variety of levels. And then, as people cycle through those different levels, it makes more and more housing available for people that are at different income strata. So it really needs to be kind of a holistic, comprehensive approach. And I think, as I mentioned, the council, Community Development Director Nyforth have done a good job with that. Now it's a matter of trying to execute that in all those different dimensions. So we'll touch on that at State of the City, and as we mentioned, we have an item to get approved at the council meeting, so we just need to keep moving forward.
Okay, very good. Well, John, thank you very much for your insights today. We really appreciate you joining us.
You're welcome, Andy. Thanks for having me.
All right, and thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you tuning in and learning a little bit more about your city. Again, that Oshkosh Common Council meeting is coming up on Tuesday, March 12th at City Hall, located at 215 Church Avenue. And you can watch that live on GovTV, Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Or you can listen on the radio, that's Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for phones and tablets. Of course, you can always use your favorite streaming device, including Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV. Just search for the Oshkosh Media app. And you can always visit our YouTube channel for government meeting archives and the full library of Oshkosh Media programming. So again, please join us in 2 weeks for another City Manager's Report. Thanks for watching.